Okay, now out of the boxes, and something weird, when I pulled them out there in that guy's shop, they were covered in a fine dust, which handling it and bringing it to the house is, and a couple, a day sitting out just in the house kind of has that grimy weird crap's gone. I don't know if I just rubbed it off of my hands looking at this or what, but it looks better than it did when it come out of the wrap. So this one is the M38 Carcano cavalry carbine, folding bayonet in 7.35. Now these are kind of hard to find. Okay, they're a tough find. You don't run across them, and they're usually pretty gnarly when you find them. So right upon the first thing we looked, here we'll take a look at it. As you can see, the finish is pretty much worn on it. The markings are there, okay, and this is the collector's end of it. I have the Italian, oh come on, focus. Okay, you're gonna have to forgive me, I gotta try to get this camera to focus. It has the Italian markings on it without the SA, okay? And the markings are all quite clear, but the only thing is somebody ground off the caliber designation. Why, I don't know. And I'll go more into this gun when we do an in-depth look at it and the history of it. Now everything's here, it's worn, and basically what all this is from being handled. Okay, that's how this wear got there. There is the importer stamp up there on top. Okay. There you go. It's pretty deep. The bayonet is a little loose. It's loose, but that's from somebody grabbing the thing and squeezing it. They kind of bent it. But it's there. The bayonet's there. Has the button, more modern button catch, and does lock into place. Okay. There's a look at that worn. And one thing I did notice, I'll go over weird things I noticed, this was kind of loose. Okay, which is good sign, bad sign, I don't know. Alright, and the butt stock screw, let me get over here, is missing on this butt plate. The one screw's missing. So no big disaster there. It's $2 parts, $6 shipping. It's an $8 deal and we get the screw. I could probably find a screw, but I'd rather just get one for the specific gun. Now the stock, this is the interesting thing about this, and this is where it comes in. You're looking at this, oh man, they gave me this screwed up stock with all these repairs and that on there. This is, and you see down in here, there's all this patchwork of wood. This is a variation that is in that book. This was an older carbine stock that had that weird grenade launching apparatus thing on there that was salvaged, repaired, and reworked when this gun was redone. So this is actually an interesting collector's item to have the stock like this. Okay, this is something, this is more when you're a collector and getting into details and variations, this is a plus. Okay, so all in all, and if you look down the bar when you open the actions, okay, there's hold on a minute, I'm going to pick it up and we'll go over a couple things. Okay, so on a quick examining of the gun, there's one crack in the stock here, but mostly the stock is in fairly good shape. Rough, it was grimy, and like I said, after looking at it, handling it, it is looking better. Now, these guns here that were not sent to Finland have a stamp which says caliber 7.35, and there should be a stamp down in there. You can barely see it. So when I go to work on this stock, okay, and I will cover it, I am not going to sand it, and I'm not going to use some kind of heavy duty cleaner. I'm going to show you how I use olive oil and hand rub this, and basically like a museum curator, just remove the dirt and grime without sanding, polishing, or stripping, okay, with any type of chemical, the wood. It's very important. Now, like I said, the other thing, buttstock's kind of loose and the screw's missing, but no big deal, $6 fix, okay? The other thing I noticed, that the trigger guard is loose, which is a, one way or the other. Now we get to the bayonet, like I said, what it does is from, I guess, handling it like this, a little bent and it'll move, but if you shove it up in there, it'll kind of lock and stay in place. But it does function. Okay. Somebody said they got one of these and it was rusted shut or something, but this comes out, functions all right. You know, a little loose in the closed position, but may be able to be worked on. All the, and come back down and then shove it back up. A little loose in the locking, probably bent. Sling mounts here and here or there, not broken off or missing, okay? And now the action. What somebody's done is, because I noticed, it must be these things were just caked with dirt. So they must take these out, because there's oil on here, there was lubricant of some sort dripping on there. But they do clean it out, but as you can see, this thing is covered in grit, grime, and crud. Okay, so you're gonna have to thoroughly disassemble and clean before I can make a good judgment on this. Now, let's do the other thing. You hear these horror stories and these people showing you a bore picture. Well, you look down this and it is dark in the bore. Okay, even with a bore light and that, there looks like red, but there's too much crud in there to make a solid determination on the bore condition. It just, it looks bad. But we haven't cleaned it. I don't know if it's grime, dirt, rust. This stuff here is pretty thick, gritty crap on there. Okay, you don't know what it is. So until we do a complete disassembly and cleaning, which I'm going to make videos on that and show you how I do this, that is when I can give you a good, accurate assessment. And it's going to take me some time, so please be patient. Okay, now, visually when you look at it, you're hearing stories from this company and guys going out and shooting some of these KR98s and that. The carbines, they sounded like a good deal. You paid, but for an original U.S. carbine, but nobody's really doing an in-depth study. They go out and they shoot them, but nobody's doing accuracy, putting it on the bench, checking the bore, telling you what real accurate condition the bore is in. You just see people shooting them. I'm going to go in a little bit more detail in that. So, now, before we go on to the next gun, the big magic question, okay? Since you really can't tell what the hell is down in that bore, I haven't run anything down into it yet, okay? We're going to do the bullet test, okay? So hang on a second. Okay, the bullet test is pretty much on the fly if you happen to have a cartridge, and you can't really do this at a gun show. You pull a cartridge out of a gun show and try sticking it in the end. Security might stop you. But I do have my reloads with the Hornady bullet, which is the correct bullet for this. .300 thousandths. And now we're going to go and do the bullet test. When we put it in there, ooh, look at that. It doesn't even start to go in. So, and later on when I give a description of this gun, I will tell you why I kind of assumed that this is the way it is. The bore does not look worn out or shot out. That bullet doesn't even start to go in there. Okay? So, fantastic. And we'll go to the next one, and I think some setup, we'll do the bullet test on the next one, then look at that.